How can individuals and companies protect our security and autonomy when faced with competitive pressure to adopt technology that compromises us?
Oh, that's that's a great question, and it's a very difficult question because this actually applies on the policy basis too. Um, One of the arguments, the evergreen arguments that you don't really hear in public much, but you do hear in policy circles, at the think tanks when they talk about these things, is when they actually admit that all these civil liberties organizations and all these do-gooders actually have a point, and they will admit privately, yes, these are violations of law and our rights and our values and all that stuff. Sure, true, fair, right? Won't say that in front of the newspaper, but we'll say that privately. But then they go, but if we did what you said, that would be unilateral disarmament. All the bad people in the world would still be using those capabilities, right? But we ourselves would have let them down. And so we would be attacked by the very things that we would be had given up, and we wouldn't be able to respond with them in kind. And the funny thing is, the answer is, when you look at this at least on the policy level, is that, well, yes, that is the point. That is leadership. That's what it means. It means being the first to do something in an attempt to establish a new norm. And then you punish infractions of violations of that norm. And we have seen this happen in the last century in the context of nuclear arms. And in fact, it has been effective. There are many countries now that possess nuclear arms, and yet all of them are afraid to use them. Even more companies possess biological weapons, but all of them fear to use them. When you create a new weapon, when you create a new tool, when you create a new thing, a new capability, there are really two questions to be faced. One is, can you do it? And that's the one which, of course, many people are sort of seduced by. But then there is the other side of that, which is, should you do it? I mean, that's a very different question. And so the way of looking at this is that right now, it is difficult, particularly in the commercial space, to give up this free stream of money. Because look, whether you are in charge of a website, whether you have a game, a network, anything, anything that involves a mass audience, if you abuse your audience, it is actually more profitable now than treating them respectfully and with dignity. And if that is the case, of course, the incentives appear to be in that direction. But there's short-term gain and long-term gain. And I think because the pendulum is pinned so far in one direction in our historical moment, it is very difficult for us to imagine any other possibility, what it would look like in a different way. And I think the biggest missed opportunities today are those who are not looking at how do they compete in the current paradigm while giving up these capabilities, but how can one profit from destroying their competitors' paradigm? Because if you destroy the business model of Facebook, if you destroy the business model of Google, if you destroy the business model of all of these commercial and government methods of abusing people at a global scale, right, for personal privatized benefit, if you make that impossible, you will be not just rewarded, you will be applauded in a way that I think will be truly historic. Thank you.